Foot binding. Foot binding was a regular aesthetic practice in China for over 1,000 years before it was abolished. It was thought that small feet were beautiful. In this custom, when a girl reached the age of 2 or 3, her mother or grandmother would begin to wrap bandages tightly around the girl's feet to keep them from growing. The toes on each foot would be pulled backwards towards the heel, which pushed the arch muscles together. As the girl got older, this process would continue by rewrapping the bandages and forcing the feet into tiny shoes. Ultimately, women were left with hoof-like feet that often became infected and were ultimately useless. The desired size of a female's foot was not to exceed 3 to 4 inches, or the approximate size of a lotus flower. Oftentimes, there were contests between parents to see who could keep their daughters' feet smaller. This practice began during the Tang Dynasty by palace dancers. Because the girls were still capable of moving freely, the practice probably was not carried out to the severity of typical foot binding that became widespread throughout the country later. In the beginning, foot binding was practiced only by the wealthy, since women of this class could afford to be unproductive. Although foot binding symbolized beauty and status, many believe it was also done to make women dependent on men. Due to their disfigured feet, many women could not walk or even support their own weight without assistance. This custom was outlawed in 1911 by the government, which discovered that educated members of other societies considered it to be barbaric. This custom, if it were practiced today, would be considered a form of child abuse.